Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and I just wanted to check in with you about Schoology course image templates. I've made some for you that you can adjust on your own, and the directions are up here. They'll probably change a little bit by the time you see it, but at the time I was making this video, this is how they looked. And there's one for each class of the day, and all you have to do is come in and edit it to be the way you want it. But I'm going to show you how I did this so you can make your own if you're so inclined, and I will give instructions at the top of these slides for that as well. So the first thing we want to do is make a new slide deck. Before you do anything else, make sure you are logged in to your school Chrome, and make sure that you are, if you mouse over your image up here, whether you have a picture or not, make sure that you are in your school account so that you can save this to your school Google Drive. I know several people have multiple Google Drives, and you may or may not accidentally get logged into the wrong one. And I don't want this to be just like hiding someplace in your various Google Drives. So this will make sure it's in your school drive. Okay, so I'm back. I hope that is working. My son is mowing the lawn outside, and every once in a while it gets a little too loud. So again, we're going to make a new slide deck. So go to New, and we're going to go to Google Slides. Just click on that, and it will make you a new one. And there are a few formatting things that we want to take care of right off the bat. And the first one is we want to take care of the themes. Just make them go away. Click off of them. And then we want to, up here, these buttons are very important to this endeavor. And the one that we're going to start with is layout. We don't want any of these text boxes on there, so go to blank. Okay. And then we want to resize this slide deck. And this is going to be a common theme when we create things in slides, whether it be a worksheet or course images. You can just do a lot of really cool things in slides. And I'm learning new ones every day. So check back with me every once in a while if there's something you can't do that you really want to. So the first thing we're going to do is go to page setup, and we want to change the size of this because it will download more appropriately if it's not in 16 by 9. So we want to move this from inches to pixels, and we want to go to 1700 and 900. Okay, so that's what it should look like when it's ready, and apply. It's not going to show a huge bit of difference, but what that basically did was just kind of zoom in. So the next thing we're going to do is sort of decide like what we want to do here. And I have a couple of suggestions for you if you'll bear with me. There's a reason why I made these backgrounds like this. These are just really light backgrounds. And the reason is because in the Schoology calendar, you can color code all of your courses. So I have 65 calendars in here. Don't ask me why. But when you click down here, the default color is this like orangey color. And if you want to, you can change the color, and so can the kids. So I like to correspond the color of the course itself to the course image. So it's really easy for me to be thinking about like first hour is always my yellow class, and the next one is my blue class. And I am highly visual, and that helps me a lot. You get to pick from all these colors, and it's really not a bunch of colors. It's a bunch of colors with a few colors with a bunch of different backgrounds around them. But you can kind of see that it has the same feel as this. That's not an accident, and I will explain it to you as we keep going. So we want to like make that background. And the easiest way to do this is to go to background and go to color. And you're in solid right now, and I'm just going to keep you there for now, but you can go play around with this as much as you want. You can pick different themes down here if you want, like you can go to town. But I'm going to make this pretty green color row. I always think of them in rows, and I get out of the brights and into these really, really faded ones. And so here is the green, light green 3 is what it's called if you mouse over it, and done. All right, so it's not much to look at right now. I want you to consider that there are two most important things and the things that administration wants to see in these pictures this year. And one is the course name, and the other is the course hour, the class period. And I feel like the easiest way to do that is just to divide the slide. And the easiest way to divide a slide is to use a visual break. So I'm going to use a line. I'm going to draw my line. Again, I'm going to make these very similarly this time to those. Maybe I'll start over here this time. Why not? Okay, so you just draw your line. It won't be anything fancy for now. Okay, so if you grab it, you'll see that little red crosshair. That's your center. So if you want to make this a little bigger, that's totally cool. You just need to make sure it's centered. Beautiful. It's also too thin right now. So we're going to click back on it, and you know you can click on it when you get the white crosshairs with the arrows on them. If you have those, then when you click, it will show up. And I want to make this a little bit darker. Actually, I want to make it lighter. I'm going to make it white. Okay, and then we're going to go over here to line weight, and I'm going to pick 12. It's nice and thick, and it will separate the visuals that you're trying to get it to separate. All right. That's what happens when you click on the right side of your mouse on accident. I do that a lot. Perfect. Okay, so you want to leave plenty of room for the text that you have to write in case you teach something that has a very long name. And this over here is going to be the number of your course period. So let's get 2 text boxes going. And the easiest way to do that is just to come up here to text box, click it, and just drag and drop right there. And then don't just freehand it, actually click on the box itself and right click and copy. Sometimes this doesn't do it. The reason it doesn't is because your cursor is still blinking because you're not clicked on the box itself. So click on the box itself, click copy, and then I am going to paste this. And I can come over here and hit paste, right click paste, but it's not going to go anywhere. So it's actually just right here on top of the other one. And so the other thing we want to do is make sure that we give ourselves some visuals. See, it popped right back up there again, but it's going to disappear again because it is a transparent border. So just for now, we're going to make this not be transparent. And so that border color, we're going to come up here and we're going to pick black. Now, we're not going to leave it black because it's not as pretty, but I'm going to also make this one black just so you can see what you're doing. We can turn it back just that fast. The reason I had you copy and paste it is because this is going to give you the exact size that you're looking for on either end. You can always make it bigger or smaller as needed, but symmetry is a lot easier to achieve, and I like symmetry, if you keep the boxes the same size. So there is our basic layout. And I want to change the font up because there are some really good tips. Arial is a really good font if you like Arial. I don't. But it's a sans serifs font. Sans serif. So this is an example of a serif font. It has the little serifs, these little lines, the bottoms and the tops. Okay, I'm going to encourage you to use one without serifs, a sans serifs like Arial or Calibri, because it will show up better. I promise you, it matters. It matters for these purposes. So I'm going to use Montserrat, and Montserrat is really nice. It has a whole list of options here. Mystery noises. I'm going to go back here. So Montserrat has all of these options: thin, extra light, normal, medium. These are going to come in handy when you're trying to show definition for different words. But for now, we're going to pick normal. And I don't encourage you to go much more bold than semi-bold because it will not transition quite as nicely. The thicker it gets, the fuzzier it gets when you save it. And I'm sure there's a reason for that. And somebody with a graphic arts background can definitely coach me up on this. But this is how I know how to do it. So I'm just going to pick normal for now. And I'm going to type something in here. Let's type geometry. Something I would never teach. And it got up here in the top left corner, and we don't want it there. We want it in the middle and we want it nice and big. So I'm double clicking on it to highlight it, and also highlight it the other way. And I'm going to bump this up to about 60. What happens? It's not bad. About 90. 120. All right, we can live with that. We can make it bigger if we need to. So the next thing we want to do is we want to get it in the middle of this box. So we're going to come over here to Align, and there are actually two menus in Align. So when you click Align, the first menu will center it, and if you go back to that same menu, if you go down to this second line and click Middle, then it will go exactly in the middle of the box, which again was one of the reasons why we wanted to have this box and this box be the same size. I think it has some room in it, so we're going to go to 140. All right, we're not going to push it anymore. The next thing we're going to do is put a number, and we're actually going to put a class period in here. The bigger the number, again, the fuzzier it looks, and it helps to break up the visual if you have, if it's not exactly the same on both sides. So I'm going to go back to Montserrat. I'm going to choose, I'm going to choose semi-bold for this one. And I'm going to make this 80. And I want to put first, I didn't go to 80. I know why now. And hour. It's okay, you can do it either way. Highlight this, and we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to try 80 here. Okay, it fits. And we're going to go back to Align and go to the middle, and back to Align and go to the middle. And there we go. We're going to test this to make sure that they're still centered with each other, even though we know they are because the boxes look next to each other. But I just clicked on that and didn't even move it, and the red line showed up. Do the same thing here. So we're good. The next thing I want to do is change the color of the font because it's kind of sad. You can see it over here. This is about how it will look when it's up in the top left corner of your course as your course image. That's what it's called. And your course image, it needs to be bold enough to read that small. So it's looking okay. I'm actually going to give geometry a little more zhuzh. That works. Okay. So we're going to highlight that text again, and we're going to change the font color. And so this is what I did on the last one. So this was a green, and we used this, light green 3. I'm going to go down to dark green 2 for this. And I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to choose dark green 1 for this one. And so it's really tonal when you do that, and and it works. It's okay. If you want to not make this all lowercase because you're a purist, you can do that as well. It takes about a second or two, but you'll see what it really looks like over here. So it's pretty readable. Pretty readable. You can keep playing with it, but again, you're not going to want anything bolder than this because it will convert terribly. And I'm actually going to create a little more interest over here, just real quick, by going to light and see what happens. See, there's just enough difference there now where I feel like it breaks it up a little bit. And I'm going to take this down one color lighter and see if we get, it's too hard to read. I'm just going to undo it. That is still highlighted from me clicking the back button, and we're going to get rid of that border now. And to click on this, it's on black right now. We're going to go to transparent. And we're going to do the same thing here with geometry. Okay, so let's say I really like this. It looks okay to me. It makes me happy. It's readable. It is. You can read it pretty well. I'm going to move this over a hair. because I think it needs it. And you can do that as much as you want to. Okay. I like it, and I don't want to keep recreating it over and over and over again, so I'm going to use the duplicate feature. Duplicate is exactly what it sounds like. If you right-click on the slide, you can duplicate slide. Click that. So the slide here, we like it, but we need it to be a different color because that calendar over here, we got all these colors to choose from. And that green is pretty close to the one we just made. So we want to make one that is maybe in the pink or red family. There are enough colors in the traditional colors in slides for you to choose from and to get all of these slides. And so there's subtle differences, but they're there. I like them. Let's make one more just for the sake of showing you how this works. And so we're just going to change the background color first. Make sure you clicked on the slide that you just duplicated because you don't want to go and change the other one. It really doesn't matter, but going in order is nice. Once you have it, you can just recreate it a number of times. So we're going to click on background. And so we're here at light green 3. And then we're going to go over here to this one over to light cyan 3. And that actually looks really pretty. You don't have to stay in the same color space. In fact, I probably won't when I make mine, but again, that's up to you. And I just want to make it as simple as possible when you're starting out. I want to change these colors to fit in the cyan family. And we're just going over one. That's all we're doing. And over one. Boom. And so you can duplicate it again, and again, and again, and again. We want to make sure we change this to second hour, and maybe this is algebra. If you want to add a second line, like you have algebra advanced, then just click enter. And I like to separate things somehow to give some sort of visual difference. So maybe do all lowercase, uppercase. And then you can even maybe lighten up the font. Like that. And so there's some difference there, but you can still clearly read it, and it keeps the same focus as the other ones did. So that's how you do it. You just keep duplicating and adjusting as necessary. If you have all the same course, like 4 geometries, then make 4 of your geometries before you go messing around with it. So this is maybe third hour, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to show you how to save it now. So let's assume that you've made all the ones that you like, and we're going to go into the file menu. And we're going to go to download. This is actually rolled down a little bit. So if you go to file, it should be like right here in the middle typically. Mine was moved up for some reason. But if you're in download, you notice, first thing you might notice is that you can convert this to a Microsoft PowerPoint. So if you tend to hang out in the Microsoft world more often, you could do that. It's very simple. We do not want to make this a PDF, although if you ever need to make things that you don't want moved around, that's a really great way to do it. But we are going to go to JPEG or PNG. They both work, and they both look almost exactly the same. So I'm going to save this one as a JPEG just for consistency. And so first hour geometry. This is third hour advanced algebra. And we're going to click save. And there it is. You can tell it's a JPEG. It's down there. We're going to go over to this course. This is a course that I'm just playing around with right now. Go to Edit Picture. Attach File. And we're going to go, it's right at the top here, actually. I made a lot of them today. And you save them, of course, you save them a slide at a time and upload them a slide at a time. And so now you can see that it looks like this. And that's super easy to read here. As I'm looking at it now that it's converted, you can see there are just slightly fuzzy edges here. Like I said, the more bold you get, the more fuzzy you get. But this looks pretty good to me. I might make this a little bigger in the future, and so all you would have to do is go back over to your presentation and bump this up a hair. So make it just a little bit bigger. It's 90. Yeah. That's all. So, want to see how that works? I'm going to go ahead and convert it again. Naming them different names. Eventually, you can go back and rename all of them if you want, and you can delete the ones that are extraneous. I don't ever tend to, but you are totally welcome to. Let's go back and check it out. Here on the top, and click out. Even easier to read. The last thing you want to check is how it looks in your course menu. And I refreshed it because I wanted to make sure that this, and so there it is. So it meets all the expectations. So you can see what happens when you pick something that isn't a good image. This is the Schoology Ambassador template. You would think they would know better. But so see how clean that is, easy to read, easy to understand. And I tend to put my dates in my sandboxes and my courses, but I like to put my class periods in my courses so that it's just that much easier to understand. So that's how it looks when you're done. You go ahead and save this as course images. And I want to go back here real quick and make sure that I didn't leave anything off of the directions. Make sure you adjust the location of your boxes. Yeah. You can go from grid view to film strip view. You can change that down here typically if you don't have these buttons on for Screencastify. You can duplicate, you can download them, and then you add them as course images. That is the deal. Join me back here soon for other video tutorials, and I will see you all sooner than I imagine. Bye.